Chapter 1. The Legend of the Black Oak Inn. Nestled in the heart of a quaint English village, the Black Oak Inn was a place steeped in history and folklore. Locals spoke in hushed tones about its dark past, particularly the cellar that lay beneath the creaking floorboards. It was said that the inn had been built atop ancient burial grounds, and that the spirits of the restless dead roamed its shadowy depths. The inn's proprietor, a grizzled man named Harold, had run the establishment for decades. He was known for his hearty laugh and generous pours of ale, but there was a coldness in his eyes that hinted at secrets he dared not share. Despite the inn's warm atmosphere, a chilling air surrounded the cellar, where few dared to venture. It was on a stormy night in October when a group of friends, Tom, Sarah, Mike, and Emily, decided to explore the inn. They were university students, eager for adventure and thrill. The tales of the cellar intrigued them, and they soon found themselves sitting at the bar, sipping pints of ale. "Have you ever been down there?" Tom asked Harold, his curiosity piqued. Harold's expression darkened. "Best not to go down there, lads. The cellar holds things best left undisturbed." "Come on, it's just an old cellar," Mike scoffed. "What's the worst that could happen?" Harold leaned in closer, his voice low. "They say that once you enter, you might not come back the same. Or worse, you might not come back at all." With that ominous warning hanging in the air, the friends exchanged glances, filled with both fear and excitement. Chapter 2. The Descent. After finishing their drinks, the group decided to explore the cellar despite Harold's warning. They made their way through the dimly lit pub, laughter echoing off the walls as they approached a heavy wooden door. At the end of a narrow hallway, Tom pushed the door open with a creak that reverberated through the stillness. A musty smell wafted up from the stairs leading down into darkness. The flickering light from a single bulb above cast eerie shadows along the stone walls. "Are we really doing this?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Of course, it'll be fun," Mike replied, trying to sound brave. They descended into the depths of the cellar, their footsteps echoing ominously in the silence. As they reached the bottom, they found themselves surrounded by rows of dusty barrels and cobweb-covered shelves, filled with forgotten bottles. "Look at this place," Emily exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. "It's like stepping back in time." But as they wandered deeper into the cellar, an unsettling feeling began to creep over them. The air grew colder, and an unnatural silence enveloped them. "Maybe we should head back," Sarah suggested, her instinct screaming that something was off. "Just a little longer," Tom insisted, leading them further into the darkness. Chapter 3. The First Encounter. As they ventured deeper into the cellar, they stumbled upon a small room hidden behind a stack of barrels. The door was slightly ajar, and an inexplicable urge compelled Tom to push it open. Inside, they found an old wooden table covered in dust and strange symbols carved into its surface. In the corner stood an ancient-looking mirror, its glass clouded with age. "What do you think this is?" Mike asked, leaning closer to examine the symbols. "I don't know, but it looks like some kind of ritualistic table," Emily replied nervously. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlight. Panic set in as they fumbled to turn it back on. "Did you feel that?" Sarah whispered, her breath visible in the sudden chill. Before anyone could respond, a low growl echoed through the cellar, sending shivers down their spines. The friends huddled together, eyes wide with terror. "Let's get out of here," Emily shouted, but as they turned to flee, they found the door had slammed shut behind them. Frantically, they pushed against the door, but it wouldn't budge. The growling grew louder, reverberating off the stone walls like a monstrous heartbeat. "What is happening?" Tom shouted, panic rising in his voice. "We need to find another way out," Mike yelled, searching for any other exit. As they stumbled around in the dark, they heard whispers, soft and unintelligible at first, but growing clearer with each passing moment. Leave this place," the words sent chills down their spines. They were not alone. Suddenly, the mirror began to glow with an eerie light. The friends froze as a figure slowly emerged from its depths, a shadowy silhouette with hollow eyes and a twisted grin. "Welcome to my domain," it hissed. Chapter 5. The Dark Truth. The figure stepped closer, revealing itself as a ghostly apparition dressed in tattered clothes from centuries past. Its face was gaunt and pale, eyes filled with sorrow and malice. "You should not have come here," it said softly. "This place is cursed, bound by blood and betrayal." "What do you want from us?" Sarah cried out, backing away until she hit the wall. The ghost raised a bony finger and pointed at them. "You must pay for your trespass. Your souls will feed my hunger." In that moment, memories flooded through Tom's mind, stories he had heard from locals about a tragic event that had taken place beneath the inn centuries ago. A group of villagers had been accused of witchcraft and executed in those very depths. Their spirits were said to haunt the cellar, seeking vengeance on anyone who dared disturb their resting place. "We didn't mean any harm," Tom pleaded desperately. "We just wanted to explore." The ghost let out a low laugh that echoed through the room like thunder. "Your intentions matter not. You are now part of my collection." Chapter 6. The fight for survival. With adrenaline surging through their veins, Tom grabbed a nearby bottle and hurled it at the ghost. It shattered against the wall, but the apparition merely laughed again. "Foolish mortals, you cannot harm me." The friends scrambled for an escape as shadows began to swirl around them. They could feel cold fingers brushing against their skin as they fought against an unseen force, pulling them toward the mirror. "Together," Mike shouted as he grabbed Sarah's hand. "We have to stick together." They formed a circle, holding hands tightly as they focused on finding a way out. "We need to confront it," Emily urged. "We can't let it take us." As if sensing their resolve, the ghost lunged at them with terrifying speed. But just before it reached them, Tom shouted with all his might, "We won't let you take us." A blinding light erupted from their joined hands as they channeled their fear into strength. The ghost recoiled from the light, shrieking in fury. Chapter 7. Breaking free. With newfound determination, they pushed toward the door that had trapped them moments before. To their astonishment, it swung open easily as if granting them passage. "Run!" Sarah screamed as they bolted through the doorway and up the stairs. They raced through the inn and burst into the main room where Harold stood behind the bar, eyes wide with shock. "What happened?" he demanded. "There's something down there." Mike gasped for breath. "We have to get out." Without hesitation, Harold grabbed a lantern and rushed toward them. "You fools! You've awakened it." Chapter 8. Confrontation. Harold led them back toward the cellar entrance, but stopped short when he heard a low growl emanating from below. "We need to seal it," he shouted urgently. "What do you mean?" Emily asked incredulously. "The only way to stop it is to contain it. We must close off its access to this world." As they stood there debating their next move, shadows began to creep up from below. The ghost was coming for them again. "Now," Harold commanded as he grabbed an iron rod from behind the bar and prepared to block the entrance. The friends rushed forward to help him as waves of darkness surged upward like tendrils, reaching for their souls. With every ounce of strength they had left, they managed to push barrels and furniture against the door just as the ghost appeared at the top of the stairs. "Foolish mortals," it screeched in rage. "You cannot escape your fate." Chapter 9. A price to pay. As they barricaded themselves inside the Black Oak Inn, an eerie silence fell over them. They could hear nothing but their own breathing mixed with frantic heartbeats pounding in their chests. "What now?" Sarah whispered fearfully. "We wait," Harold replied grimly. "Until dawn." Hours passed like an eternity as they huddled together in fear. The growling subsided, but was replaced by whispers, taunting voices that echoed through their minds. "You will never leave. What have we done?" Emily cried softly as tears streamed down her face. "We need to make a sacrifice," Harold finally said after what felt like hours of silence. to appease it. What? No way. Tom protested vehemently. It's our only chance. Harold insisted firmly. One of us must stay behind willingly. Chapter 10. The sacrifice. The weight of Harold's words hung heavily in the air. As reality set in for each of them, they were trapped in this nightmare with no way out unless someone made a terrible choice. "I'll do it," Mike said suddenly, surprising everyone. "No," Sarah shouted as she grabbed his arm desperately. "We can't let you do this. It's our only chance," Mike replied solemnly. "I can't let you all die because of me." Tears filled Emily's eyes as she shook her head in disbelief. There has to be another way. But deep down inside them all knew there wasn't. They had awakened something ancient and powerful that demanded payment for their trespass. "I'll hold it off," Mike continued resolutely. "Just promise me you'll get out of here." "No, we're not leaving you," Tom protested fiercely. But Mike stepped back toward the door as shadows began swirling around him. Once more the ghost sensed its prey was willing to sacrifice itself. "Go!" he yelled desperately as he braced himself against darkness creeping toward him. Chapter 11. A heartbreaking goodbye. With tears streaming down their faces and hearts breaking under pressure of grief and guilt, Tom took Sarah's hand tightly. While Emily clung to her side, together they pushed forward toward exit. Doors leading outside into dim light filtering through cracks above ground level, where hope still lingered faintly amidst despair surrounding them all around. "Remember me," Mike called out just before shadows enveloped him completely. A final scream echoed through air, followed by silence. Chapter 12. Dawn's light. As dawn broke over the black oak in sunlight streamed through windows, illuminating what remained a chilling emptiness where laughter once filled space, now replaced by echoes, haunting memories lost forevermore. Tom, Sarah, Emily stumbled outside into fresh air, gasping relief mixed with sorrow, knowing sacrifice made would never be forgotten. A bond forged through darkness, stronger than any fear could ever break apart. But even as they walked away from cursed grounds, whispers followed them, reminding every step taken would always lead back towards fate sealed beneath pub, where shadows danced eternally, waiting for next unsuspecting souls wandering too close. And so legends continued spreading throughout village, tales woven into fabric life, reminding all who dared enter those hallowed halls beneath ground must tread carefully lest awaken sleeping spirits restless, seeking vengeance once more. Chapter 13. The haunting aftermath. Months pass since that fateful night at the Black Oak Inn. Yet the memories of Mike's sacrifice lingered in the hearts of Tom, Sarah, and Emily. They returned to their university, but the weight of their experience shadowed their every moment. Laughter and camaraderie felt hollow, overshadowed by the loss of their friend. One evening, as they sat in their dorm room, Sarah broke the silence. "Do you think he's really gone? That he's trapped down there?" Tom shook his head, trying to dispel the dark thoughts. "He sacrificed himself to save us. We have to believe he found peace." Emily looked out the window, her mind racing. But what if he didn't? What if the ghost is still there, waiting for more souls? The thought sent a chill down their spines. They had been haunted not only by the memory of Mike, but also by the fear that the darkness beneath the Black Oak Inn was far from contained. Chapter 14. The call of the past. One night, as they gathered for a study session, Tom received an unexpected message on his phone. It was from an unknown number, but the message sent shivers down his spine. "You must return. The balance is disturbed." "What is it?" Sarah asked, noticing the sudden change in Tom's demeanor. "It's just a weird text," he replied, trying to sound nonchalant. But inside, he felt a pull, a compulsion to heed the warning. Emily leaned closer, her eyes wide with concern. "What does it mean? Do you think it's connected to Mike?" "I don't know," Tom admitted, feeling a mix of dread and curiosity. "But I think we need to go back." Chapter 15. The return. After much debate, the trio decided to return to the Black Oak Inn one last time. They arrived under the cover of darkness, the inn looming ominously against the night sky. The familiar chill in the air sent shivers down their spines as they approached the entrance. Harold was still there, looking older and wearier than before. His eyes darkened as he recognized them. "You shouldn't have come back," he warned, his voice grave. "The spirit is restless." "We received a message," Tom said, trying to explain. "It said the balance is disturbed." Harold's face paled. "Then it's worse than I feared. You must be careful, it hungers for more." Chapter 16. The descent once more with heavy hearts and a sense of foreboding. They made their way down to the cellar once again. The air was thick with tension as they descended the stairs, flashlights flickering in anticipation of what lay ahead. As they entered the cellar, they noticed that the symbols on the table had changed. New markings had appeared, pulsating faintly as if alive. The mirror stood ominously in the corner, its surface rippling like water disturbed by unseen forces. "Do you think Mike is still here?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. "I hope so," Tom replied. "We need to find a way to help him." Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Darkness enveloped them once more. Chapter 17. Confronting the darkness, stay close, Tom shouted as they huddled together, fear gripping them tightly. The whispers returned, clearer this time, taunting and mocking. "You dare disturb us again? Show yourself," Sarah demanded, her voice shaking but filled with determination. The ghost emerged from the shadows, its features twisted with rage and sorrow. "You think you can save him? He belongs to me now." "No," Emily cried out. "We won't let you take any more lives." "Then prepare to pay the price." The ghost lunged at them, and they instinctively formed a circle once more. Chapter 18. A glimmer of hope in that moment of desperation. Tom remembered something Mike had told them during their adventures together. The power of friendship and unity could conquer even the darkest of forces. "Together," he shouted as they clasped hands tightly again. "We can do this." As they focused their energy on each other, a bright light began to emanate from their joined hands, pushing back against the darkness surrounding them. "Mike," Tom called out into the void. "We're here. We won't leave you behind." Suddenly, from within the swirling shadows emerged a faint figure. Mike's spirit appeared before them, looking both ethereal and sorrowful. Chapter 19. The final stand. Tom, Sarah, Emily. Mike's voice echoed softly through the cellar. "You shouldn't have come back. It's too dangerous." "We're not leaving you," Sarah shouted defiantly. "Well, fight for you." The ghost howled in fury as it realized its hold on Mike was weakening. "You cannot save him. He is mine." But as Mike reached out toward them, a fierce light enveloped him, pushing back against the darkness that sought to claim him. Together, Tom urged again as they channeled all their love and strength into one final push. With a blinding flash of light, they surged forward against the ghost. The apparition shrieked in agony as it was consumed by the brilliance of their bond. Chapter 20. Breaking free in an explosive burst of energy, the ghost dissipated into nothingness, leaving behind an eerie silence in its wake. The mirror shattered into countless pieces, scattering across the floor like stars falling from the sky. As the light faded, Mike stood before them, no longer a ghost, but a shimmering figure filled with warmth and gratitude. "You did it," he said softly, tears glistening in his eyes. "You freed me." "But how?" Emily asked in disbelief. "It was your love and bravery that broke my chains," Mike replied with a gentle smile. "You showed me that friendship transcends even death." Chapter 21. A new dawn. As dawn broke once more over the Black Oak Inn, Tom, Sarah, Emily, and Mike stood together outside beneath a sky painted with hues of gold and pink. "I thought I'd lost you forever," Tom said, embracing Mike tightly. "I'm here now," Mike reassured him, "and I'll always be with you in spirit." As they walked away from the inn for the last time, they knew that while darkness may linger in places steeped in history and sorrow, Love and friendship could conquer even the most formidable of forces. And though they would carry scars from their experiences beneath the Black Oak Inn, they also carried hope, a reminder that together they could face anything life threw their way. As they left behind the haunted pub and its cellar filled with shadows, they stepped into a new chapter of their lives, one filled with light, laughter, and memories that would last forevermore.